Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Staring at a blinking terminal cursor can honestly feel a bit like trying to navigate a totally foreign country in the pitch dark. But today, we're going to fix that. We are transforming the Linux command line from this intimidating blank screen into an incredibly empowering toolkit. By the time we wrap up, we won't just be blindly memorizing commands, we're actually going to understand exactly how the system thinks.
Okay, let's dive into this. Before we even think about typing a single command, we really need to understand how Linux sees the world. And it boils down to one profound, foundational philosophy. Everything is a file. In other operating systems, you might think of a folder, a text document, or your web camera as completely different entities, right? But Linux treats them all equally as files. Your hardware, directories, background system processes, they are all just files waiting to be read, written to, or executed. Once you wrap your head around that, the command line actually starts to make perfect sense.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, navigating your Linux system. Second, creating and viewing directories. Third, mastering essential command flags. Fourth, moving and copying data. And finally, shortcuts and system configurations.
Section 1. Navigating your Linux system.
To ground this whole abstract concept of directories, I think it really helps to use a physical analogy. Instead of picturing invisible digital zones, just think of directories as literal physical boxes. That's it. A directory is exactly like a cardboard box. Inside it, you can put files, which are like your documents, or you can toss in other smaller boxes. So managing Linux is basically just organizing boxes in a giant warehouse. Now, to navigate this massive warehouse, you've got a few essential compass tools. First up is PWD. Present Working Directory. This is literally just you asking the system, hey, which box am I currently standing inside? Then we have CD, or Change Directory. Typing CD followed by a folder name opens that specific box and drops you right inside it. But what if you want to step backward out of that box? Well, using CD followed by a space and two dots instantly steps you up one directory level. Super simple.
Section 2. Creating and viewing directories.
Okay, so if you're standing in a directory and want to see exactly what's inside, you use the ls command, which stands for list. It basically gives you instant X-ray vision into your current directory's contents. But ls by itself, that's just the basics. You can tweak it. If you want a really detailed list showing file sizes and creation dates, you just tack on L for a long list. Wondering about those sneaky files the system tries to hide from you? Just add A for all, and boom, hidden files starting with a dot instantly appear. And what's really cool is Linux gives you a color-coded guide right out of the box. If you run ls and see a blue name, that's a directory, a box. Green means it's an executable program you can actually run. And white, just a standard text file or document.
Section 3. Mastering Essential Command Flags.
Let's move on and see how this builds. You should really think of command flags as your terminal superpowers. Commands on their own are great, sure, but flags are syntax modifiers that fundamentally upgrade their behavior. They're usually just a hyphen and a letter, and they act as powerful multipliers. Like we just saw, adding L to ls gives you all that juicy file size data instead of just names. Another massive one is R for recursive, or F for force. We're actually going to see exactly why recursive is literally one of the most powerful words in the Linux dictionary in just a moment.
Section 4. Moving and copying data.
Let's completely demystify the whole copy process. When you use the cp command to copy a folder and you add the flags -r for recursive and -v for verbose, well, you basically get to see the matrix in real time. Copying a folder full of stuff isn't just instant magic. The verbose flag, that -v, proves it by printing out exactly what the computer is doing step by step. First, it creates the new destination folder. Then it creates a blank file inside it. Next, it copies the data over. And because of that -r recursive flag, it loops this exact highly logical sequence again and again for every single subfolder and file until the whole job is done. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between safe and powerful tools when you're cleaning up. Say you want to delete a box. The rmdir command works perfectly, but only if that box is entirely empty. It acts as a safety shield so you don't delete things by accident. But if you need to safely and efficiently remove a directory that is already packed with subfolders and files, use rm with that superpower flag -r for recursive. Instead of failing and throwing an error, it logically dives in, safely removes every nested file and subfolder, and clears out that main directory completely. It is absolute power that handles all the complex cleanup for you, so, definitely use it wisely.
Section 5. Shortcuts and System Configurations.
When you are out there doing real-world DevOps tasks, you absolutely need to know where things actually live on your system. For instance, if you're generating test data that you only need for, say, 5 minutes, you don't want to clutter up your main workspace. Instead, you push it to the /temp directory, a designated safe zone specifically for temporary files. On the flip side, what if you want to make a permanent system change? Let's say you want a custom greeting message every time you open the terminal. For that, you'd edit hidden files. Remember, those are the ones that start with a dot, like .profile or .bashrc. These guys load automatically on startup, and they are exactly where all your permanent system variables and configurations live.
Now, before we finish up today, I want you to imagine a scenario. Your boss comes in and tells you to create 100 uniquely numbered folders right this second. Just think about the sheer frustration of doing that with a mouse. Right-click, select a new folder, type a name, hit enter. Now do that 99 more times. It would take you absolutely ages, right?
Now, what's really interesting about this next trick is that this is where the command line completely destroys the graphical interface. By using the mkdir command combined with something called brace expansion syntax, you can just type mkdir, a name like Yogita, open a curly bracket, type 1-100, and close the bracket. That's it. One single line of text acts as a complete magic trick.
If we run the time command to measure exactly how long the system takes to process that single line of text, the output is just staggering. 0.027 seconds. Let that sink in. In a tiny fraction of a single second, Linux creates 100 perfectly numbered directories. This right here is definitive, undeniable proof of the command line's vast superiority over pointing and clicking with a mouse.
So, we've gone from that foundational philosophy that everything is a file, all the way up to automating mass folder creation. I'll leave you with a final question. If you can confidently build and destroy 100 directories in a fraction of a second with just a few keystrokes, what else could you automate tomorrow? Take this foundational confidence and start exploring your own Linux workflows. If you have enjoyed this explainer, then like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Till then, bye!